home upgrades that attract millennials. A lot of the real estate market right now in certain price ranges is being driven by millennial home buyers. And millennial home buyers are different than other generations. And while they're not necessarily as common when you get into the really luxury, type markets, in that, kind of mid-level range, a lot of the home buying activity are millennials. And a lot of millennials are skipping the starter home. So we're seeing plenty of millennials buy $500,000 houses in Tampa. So it's not that uncommon. But there's some things that attract a millennial. So if you're thinking about selling your home, thinking about renovating a home, putting a house on the market, whatever it is, listen up for the next few minutes, because we're going to talk about some features that millennials want in their house. And some of them aren't very expensive for you to adapt. Some of them are. But, great opportunity for you to know what's going on, because when you sell your home, you want it to apply to the masses. You want as many people to be interested in that home, as it can be. So first and foremost, home office space. So if you've got a room that, and I'll say this also, millennials aren't really experienced home buyers in a lot of instances, so they don't have vision, okay? If you have an empty room, they're just going to look at that as an empty room. If you have an empty room that could be an office, stage it as an office. Make it appear as an office. Put some shelves in there, put a desk, so a home office space. Smart technology, LCD screens, smart systems, smart control, a lot of that. It's gotten so much cheaper today to have security and cameras. One real simple thing that I think is really inexpensive that millennials love, USB plug-ins to outlets. And the outlets are like $20. I mean, you could very easily, there's plenty of people that could do that on their own. There's plenty of people that shouldn't. But there's people that could turn off a breaker and switch out an outlet on their own. If not, hire an electrician. But having those types of outlets in your house in a handful of areas is great for them. Then they're not chasing their little pod around, because if their cell phone dies, the world
ends. Yes.
The world is over. Like if they cannot get, it is a big deal. So that's energy efficiency. So energy efficient appliances, energy efficient AC. I think the millennial generation cares more about the earth than a lot of other generations. So the more that you can do to kind of reduce that, the more likely you are to seem appealing or attracted to a lot of millennials. Gathering space, millennials like to entertain, so they like game rooms, they like video games, put an Xbox in a room and have it on. That doesn't mean you need to leave the Xbox, it just means that gives them the perception that is a great area of the house, for a game or, entertainment. Neutral colors, that I think that goes with all generations. I think we always encourage neutral colors. Modern design, I think that millennials definitely like things that are more modern and urban. Even if they don't live in a modern and urban area, they want their house to feel like a modern and urban house. So if you have more of a country type house, expect that you're not going to be as attractive to a millennial home buyer. Outdoor living space is huge, and it's especially huge in Florida. You've got to have an area where they can gather and they can hang out, where they can all sit around a fire pit and be on their phone.
Right, and not talk to each other.
Yes. They can all sit around a fire pit and be on their phone.
Yes.
Not look at anyone, but be on their phone the whole time. So a great idea is a fire pit with USB plugs underneath. I joke, but I think there's no question that millennials are much more likely to drive electric and hybrid vehicles. So having plug-ins and outlets in the garage for that is something that makes the house more attractive. And again, same thing. It isn't crazy expensive to do. You can definitely get a plug-in outlet into your garage and have your house seem more appealing to a millennial, because then it's an extra step that they don't have to do. If they pull in a Tesla and they're looking at your house and they see it's already got what they need, that's one extra step that they don't have to take. They don't have to pay the money to go through the steps of doing that. So and there are some options with the, and I don't know the specifics now. I'm personally not an electric car guy, just not my thing. But there are plenty of people that are. And I know at one point there were even some tax credits to do stuff like that, to put charging stations and different things into homes. Last but not least, storage space. If the house doesn't have a garage, a storage shed, storage. They like to keep things more minimalistic. So they don't want to say goodbye to all the stuff that they have. They just don't want it on display. So more storage space is definitely something that is helpful for millennials. Anything else you can think of for millennials that I joke and jest, but a lot of that is reality.
Yeah, you mentioned the phone, too, and a lot of these things that you have mentioned, whether it's the Nest in the home for the heating and cooling and all that good stuff, a lot of these things out there is they like them attached to their phone so that they can control them. So it's, and I mean, I guess that's the definition of smart, is being connected.
Door locks, lights, technology, surround sound.
The Ring doorbell, so that you can see people out now, and so all of that, and being able to have it at their fingertips, because we joked about it, but their phone's in their hand the majority of the time. And I think,
hey, look, my phone's in my hand the majority of the time too. I mean, it's not just them. It's just more important for them. They were, I think we were born and raised without the cell phone present from birth. They're not. So for the most part. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Do a Real Estate Show. We're going to wrap up with our last segment about the Tampa Bay real estate market after a quick break here on the Duncan Do